Right, welcome to the channel. I've been following this Hugo Awards business because of the H.P. Lovecraft situation, but now it seems to have extended to George R.R. Martin. Now, I don't care about George R.R. Martin. Don't care at all, in fact. But to be accused of racism because he couldn't pronounce names right, that's really dumb. It's really, really dumb. In fact, it's actually quite culturally insensitive because, you know, we wouldn't lambast Chinese or Japanese people for not being able to pronounce Western names, would we? Or even Russian names. Right? We just wouldn't, would we? But we do when it's like Western cultures. I don't understand. Like, what's the big deal? And it's not just that. It's also like a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, it is honestly a big joke. Now, the Hugo Awards are a big joke anyway. I mean, they are just, you know, I say a big joke, but they're nothing really to, you know, be that pent up about. But apparently we need to be pent up about it, like all these people accusing George R.R. Martin of stuff. So, let's check it out, right? Okay, and also, I'm a bit sweaty. I'm melting here in the UK. Currently, in my house, it's like 38 degrees and we don't have aircon in the UK, so if I look like I've been drooling on myself, I haven't. I'm just really sweaty. And because like I've been wearing a vest and people keep talking about my body for some bizarre reason, I thought I'd just wear a shirt this time. So let's dive into it, shall we? This is on Bounding Into Comics and it's linked down below. Check it out, you can read along with me. So, Game of Thrones author, and obviously that's, you know, he is famous for that, right? George R.R. Martin has come under intense fire, and it has been, for racism and transphobia due to his mispronunciation of several names. That's all is, really? Just about that, okay. While hosting this year's Hugo Awards. On August 1st, the famed author played host to the 2020 entry of the annual Hugo Awards, whose award ceremony was streamed online, obviously because of COVID-19. Now, this is, honestly, I don't know, I never understand the lengths people go to twist stuff for their narrative. So Martin acted as the pre-recorded host and announced the winners of that evening awards, but because he mispronounced names and celebrated the achievements of dead authors, you know, you're celebrating their achievements, right? You're celebrating their work, not necessarily the individuals themselves. And even if certain people had distasteful views of ethnicity and gender, it doesn't negate the work, right? You can separate, or you should be able to, separate the art from the artist. You are capable of doing that. You know, I like a lot of actors that I'm sure if I met them would be royal douche canoes. But I like them as actors, you know? It's the same as this, you know, authors. Authors can be great, but I'm sure a bunch of them are assholes. And some of them were. But apparently, because of that, Martin is now, yeah, racist and transphobic. So Crazy Rich Asians actor Calvin Wong took to Twitter to write, "No more George R.R. Martin. Society has progressed past the need for George R.R. Martin." That's right. That's it. We'll just kill George R.R. Martin. Why not? Society doesn't need him anymore. Just cancel him. Cancel him off the face of the planet. Fine. And then he continued further and said, praising a fascist and mispronouncing the names of the black and brown nominees of the award ceremony he pre-recorded is an unacceptable failure. Of course. Because, Calvin Wong, you know, I mean, you've got the... I'm assuming this, but I bet I'm right. You're a Western Asian, right? Yes? Okay. But let's plane hop to, you know, the country of heritage, and let's have a look and see how they pronounce Western names. Shall we? Shall we? Or is it one rule for one, none for the other? Is it that? I think it's that, isn't it? Now, one writer, Natalie Lewis, wrote a blog post And it's crazy. Like, there is literally a whole blog post about it. It says George R.R. Martin can F off into the sun, or the 2020 Hugo Awards ceremony, Rage Blog edition. The author took issue with how George R.R. Martin repeatedly mispronounced the names of nominees. Guys, I mispronounce names all the time. And I always say, oh, mispronounced that, sorry. Or, oh, not even going to try that, I'm going to butcher that, It's about having a bit of, a bit of awareness. But George R.R. Martin can't do that. And yes, it is a pre-recorded nominees, a pre-recorded message. But you got to remember, like, he might have just been sat in his house doing it. Like, calm down, guys. Anyway, and in one case, a publication which was nominated, all the nominees were asked to provide pronunciations for their names in advance. It doesn't mean that the Western tongue can always do it. Like, why is this? Shouldn't be a shock to anyone. Well, it's not a shock to anyone with half a brain or half a brain cell. She went on to say that the fact that Martin chose not to use that information is disgusting and racist AF. You go, girl. I'm never doing that again. As nearly without exception, the names he mispronounced were Black and Brown. Right. Okay. I mean, really? You think he was doing that on purpose? Really? Come on. Like, this is a guy who has created epic names for his books. So he can clearly pronounce names right, okay, to a certain degree. I don't think he's doing it on purpose. That would be pretty bad. Also pretty embarrassing. Anyway, Lewis also accused Con Zealand of transphobia. Right in there was also a whole segment about the Oscar statuette and its crotch. It was gender essentialist and transphobic. It was so gross I don't even want to talk about it, to be honest. But you want to raise it, so you do want to talk about it. Fucking... We're talking about a statue's crotch. Oh my god. Andrew Slind would then continue and says, it's absolutely killing me today that some of the best authors I know were made to feel marginalised and unworthy again at the Hugos. How? And then go further and said, F you, George R.R. Martin, and F you, Worldcon, for allowing that. Of course. Too long didn't read of tonight's Hugos. George Ronald Reagan Martin, of course, took what should have been a night celebrating a massively diverse field of finalists and winners and instead took a big throbbing poo in the middle of it. And then Spike talked about John Campbell for several hours. Of course. Yesterday, I used this form to file a code of conduct complaint against George R.R. Martin, Bob Silverberg, and everyone involved in allowing the Hugo ceremony to be a garbage fire. Today I received a response. Of course. What is happening? Our chairs apologised to the fans beyond the binary who were offended by any statements in the Hugo Awards that were disrespectful or minimising. What? Beyond the binary? Is this something which is coming into everyday language now? Beyond the binary? I've never heard of that before, and I presume it's beyond gender norms. Is that what we would call it? Male and female? I don't know, that's probably offensive to some people as well. Is that what beyond the binary means? It is, isn't it? Beyond male and female. And I always thought as well, just as a heads up, and I swear I've spoken to some trans subscribers about this, because I get email, genuinely, I actually get emails from trans subscribers. You guys are awesome. But I always think when you start to say, especially for trans people, beyond the binary negates the fact that you are transgender because you're looking to transition from what you are, what you were born with, to what you feel you are, right? And that's just my rudimentary knowledge of it. But I would think that beyond the binary is actually quite offensive to those people. Is it not? Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it seems like to me from my very limited experience. I'm sorry you're offended. Is never an apology. What, did you ever think
that you don't deserve an apology? Pa 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 pa.
Not everyone has to be sorry just because you're offended. It's not, as it is just one problem. It's overwhelming and unpleasant. I'm within the binary and I'm still offended, of course. For those who aren't plugged into literary Twitter, the Hugo Awards were last night and George R. R. Martin hosted. He was incessantly and aggressively racist, sexist and transphobic. Search Hugo on Twitter and read this to catch up yourself. Brilliant. And then it just continued. Yeah, he's so talentless. I mean, I don't even care about George R. R. Martin, but seriously, you know, and he praised John Campbell, and you know, because Campbell has, you know, views on race and slavery and all this kind of stuff. And again, why can't we just separate the art from the artist? We're not able to do this. And like, it continues, like, it's just nonsense crap. And then Just Some Guy made a video on it as well. Fairly good. I think you're subscribed to me, actually, Just Some Guy, if I remember rightly. Check him out. But yeah, the whole thing's a total joke. Separate the art from the artist. People mispronounce names all the time. Don't get your fanny in a twist. Get that sand out your vagina. Alright, we're going to call you Sandy from now on. You Pags! The participation, award, generation, hashtag Pag is better than SJW. SJW has become a meme at this point. We need to get hashtag Pags going. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this shit heap down below. I'm going to go sweat some more in a corner. Cheers. Take care.